Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is going to be your general reading for April 2023. This is a general reading, meaning that the messages may not resonate with everyone, so please check back to your Moon and Rising sign video. In order to gain any insight into your own situation requires a personal reading. And you can go to the About box section of my channel. And there I have the reading packages listed, which include the number of minutes, number of questions, and the price. Then you simply email me at that address, hiddenlotustarot@gmail.com, and I will respond back to you. Say, hey, Tara, email me and say, hey, Tara, I want the 45-minute reading. And then I'll respond back, usually within 24 to 48 hours. However, what typically happens is when I respond back, my email goes to spam. So if you contact me for a reading, and you haven't heard back from me in 48 hours, check your spam folder, okay? Now, I have the Radiant White deck here. I have the Levita Sibila. And we will be wrapping this month's readings up with the Psychic Oracle Tarot deck, okay? Let me shuffle those a little bit. They just had to be touched. The Psychic Oracle Tarot, all right? Now, hopefully you got an opportunity to see the spring equinox, Pisces new moon, hybrid solar eclipse reading. I hope you watched that and I hope you learned something and took a little bit away from it, even if you didn't recognize the story. So I've already done some meditation and shuffling on the Capricorn sign and glyph. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the reading. There we go. Excuse me. Finally getting over that cold. Wrong cards. So I'm going to put one more rifle and one more shuffle on this deck. And then we're going to put 9 cards down. Oh, wow. 2 cards fell out. They're stuck together. There. Let's place them right there. We'll look at those together. Alright, cut the deck. Now let's see what we have here. We have the 10 of Pentacles and the 8 of Swords. And if I'm not mistaken, they fell like this. So that would mean that goes there, the 8 of Swords, and then the 10 of Pentacles. Well, swords represent thoughts, beliefs, perceptions, ideas, communications. Coins represent finances and or the doing of something, right? Okay, let's get the rest of the cards down here to see what we've got going on. Oh, well, the Star card. That's always very lovely. Next row. Oh, wow. The Strength card. Oh, look at that. The Sun card. Now you have 2 of the 3 luminaries. The other one would be the Moon, of course. There it is. So now you have all 3 luminaries. So what this tells me is this is an astrological, this has an astrological influence, or the astrology is kind of dictating the situation. Last row, the 4 of Wands, the 3 of Pentacles, and finally, the 6 of Cups. So I have first of all, it's notable that I have no court cards. It is also notable that I don't have any repeater numbers, because when numbers repeat themselves, then that's an additional message. What is the energy over the entire reading? Well, now, the High Priestess. Well, that is quite the spread. So, for those of you who don't know, and you're not used to my style of reading, the pip cards, which are the numbered cards, okay, represent the mundane, everyday, third dimensional. The major arcana cards represent spiritual lessons, and you have 4 of them. And one major arcana holds more sway than all of those cards put together. So having 4 is pretty big. Now, right off the bat, this is some kind of astronomical or astrological influence. And in the center, I have the sun, which, according to the traditional tarot, is the most positive card in the deck. Okay? Why? Because the sun brings warmth, it brings light, it brings growth, it implies, for lack of a better term, abundance. But more importantly, the sun shines a light on something for us. We can see very clearly far distances by the light of the sun, as opposed to the light of the moon. Now, we do have an eclipsed moon. That is not represented here necessarily. There's a card for the eclipsed moon, but this is telling me this is some kind of astrological influence between the sun and the moon in the heavens, okay? And sometimes the sun card will be that there's an announcement. And what usually it announces is yes, or whatever the thing is, it is going to be a success, okay? Past, present, future, interplay of the cards. We start with the 8 of Swords, and the 8 of Swords is this idea, this belief, these thoughts that you are in a situation that you cannot get out of, or you are in a situation that makes you very uncomfortable, or you are accepting the circumstances the way they are, and you can't think your way out of it. Now, it is an 8, and 8s can mean 2 things. Mostly, it is a positive card, and it's an indication that a situation will move along. But sometimes an 8 can be an obstacle, a hassle, and or a delay. In this instance, this is an obstacle, hassle, and or delay, okay? Because whatever the situation you think you're in is a situation, or even if you find yourself in a particular situation where you cannot move physically, you know, then it is a situation of your own making and or choosing. Because the card says that even if you are not able to physically move, right, your mind is free from restrictions. So it counsels you to think about how you're going to behave, what you're going to do when you are able to move. Now, sometimes there's a sense of betrayal attached with this card. You may feel as though think someone has betrayed you. It is one of the 2 hoodwink cards. You know, I can't see my way out of this. I don't know how to get out of it. And it indicates an inability to think clearly and to formulate plans cohesively. Now, it is associated with this 10 of Pentacles across the top. The 10 of Pentacles usually speaks to either family businesses, generational money, but I've also seen it represent when someone is considering retiring from their profession. Okay? What it implies is being around a group of people who are very comfortable with each other. Everybody in this group plays their part, pulls their own weight, contributes, and thus the entire group can prosper. So we see the man, the woman, the child, the 2 dogs, the old man, and really it is as I say, that generational money that lasts for generations. So whether you are extremely wealthy or not, maybe you have, invested well or what have you, then it could be something that can be passed down from generation to generation. With the Star card, it is an indication of your hopes, wishes, and dreams coming true. Okay? Now, just a message, if you have a dog or a small animal, mostly a dog, and the dog has not been behaving normally or is feeling a little ill, you need to get that dog to the vet as soon as you possibly can. That just came across. that happens sometimes with this card, and I'm looking at the moon and the lion, even though it could be a cat as well. Get your dog to the vet as soon as possible. Okay? Now, the star card talks about having faith, having a belief system, maintaining your hopes and dreams no matter what is happening for you at the moment. And it is about the idea of being comfortable with yourself, of being able, that's why she's naked, okay? And it is just like the baby is naked on the horse. Babies are comfortable with themselves. They don't know nothing from nothing. They're not trying to impress anybody. You know, they're just doing what babies do, and they're happy. And so it is also this idea of drawing from your own well, having enough to fill your own cup and still pour out whatever it is that you have to share. The second row, oh, I have 2 8s. I did not, that's escaped me. So I said there were no repeater numbers. No, there are 2 8s here. And we'll discuss that in just a second. My apologies. The Strength card says that whatever problems you are encountering, whatever obstacles, whatever frustrations, whatever delays, that you don't have to attack those issues in a violent way. It talks about attacking those things in a gentle, kind fashion. In other words, it is about facing your fears. Whatever the fears are that you have, you need to face them, but you need to be gentle and kind with yourself and the way that you approach the issue. It will be light shed on this. This is what this is telling me. And this is happening here around this Pisces new moon. Now, this is a full moon. There's not a new moon card in the deck, so you'll see that quarter moon kind of a thing. But it is I would call a what do you call it? A timing issue. But what it also indicates is that there are psychological issues coming up from the surface. The moon can indicate madness. It can indicate hallucinations. It can indicate illusions. It can indicate delusions. Those things that crawl up from deep inside of us sometimes, and we don't know why. We fear things. Why? Because we can see more clearly by the light of the sun than we can the moon. So the moon can be an indication of shadows and the shadow side of yourself. It speaks to emotions. And it also says that sometimes you have to travel a path without being able to see exactly where you're going. Okay? It is about balancing out the domestic and the wild side of yourself so that when this crustacean comes up, you see the crustacean is the only one that's faced right along that path. So this is about allowing those emotions to come up, but learning how to deal with them. Now, sometimes the moon card can be about hormonal imbalances. Maybe you're feeling all moody-o and you don't know why you're feeling all moody-o. Okay? It could just be because it's the moon. All right? The moon is, whenever there are moon events, particularly either full moons or eclipses, it is a highly emotional time. And you're not going to be able to see ahead. And so you're going to have to deal with your fears. This card tells me that some light is going to be shed on the issue, on the problem. Last row, the Four of Wands. Fours usually speak to stable foundations, secure foundations. This card is about the idea of celebrating something, okay? And that can be anything. I like to say this card to me has 2 meanings. It's the shacking up card, okay? It's not the marriage card. So in that respect, it says that a relationship that you've been in can evolve to a deeper commitment, perhaps even a marriage. Now, if this is not about a romantic relationship, this could even be a friendship or even a business partnership. So, you know, it depends on what you've got going on in your life. But I also look at this card as the pat yourself on the back card, okay? Because sometimes we achieve things, we do things, and we don't stop to pat ourselves on the back. So this card is about celebrating whatever the hard work was that you did. You come through the ace, the 2, the 3, and now you arrive at the 4. So whatever this desire or this project or this thing is that you've got going, it is now on solid foundations. However, you're going to be required to bring in other people. Now, even though there are no court cards here, I've got a group of people here. I've got 2 kids here. I've got a baby. I've got 3 individuals here. And I've got 2 people in the foreground with 5 other people in the back. Okay? So to me, it tells me that there are at least 3 people involved here, perhaps more, even though there are no court cards represented. And 3s are an indication of teamwork, of planning, of coming together and negotiating things. This is about building something, the cornerstone. This is about perhaps even going to get some advice to help and aid in the planning. Okay? And you can see he's standing on a bench. So this implies that he's got a bit more skill and knowledge than these 2 people who've come to ask for his, can we build it? Or we want to change it? We want to change the materials. What's that going to cost? Can you even do it? That kind of a thing. So sometimes this card can be an indication that there's a need to slow down and do a bit more planning, okay, before going ahead. But it also indicates that there may be some delay before future successes are realized. Why? Because there's more work to do. So it's not just finances. The pentacles represent the doing of something. And finally, it ends in the 6 of Cups, the card of nostalgia, the card of kindness, the card of giving, the card of sharing. So I've seen this when it talks about you are redecorating or remodeling your home. Maybe you are going back to visit your old childhood friends or your old childhood home. I've even seen it show up sometime when somebody's going on a high school reunion. Okay. So this is a card about sharing and gifts. And gifts are not always necessarily financial, right? They can be the sweat equity, the getting stuck in kind of a thing. They can be advice, or they can be simply the idea of listening and having compassion for people. So that is what the giving and sharing can be about. Now, over the entire reading, I have the High Priestess, the feminine mysteries. And on the one hand, this card is saying to me, whatever the answer is, at this particular moment, it is unknown. However, she is the keeper of the library. As you can see, she holds the tarot on her lap. She's the keeper of the secrets. She only lets you in when she feels you're worthy or she thinks it's time. She is, for all intents and purposes, the feminine embodiment of the moon. Now, she says to trust, to go within and trust whatever your intuition is telling you. Okay? So I find this to be quite enigmatic, to be over the entire reading, because the spread itself is giving me a lot of indication about something, but she's quite silent. And so, in other words, it could be the idea that right now, like the moon itself, there's something that you don't know. Eclipses always have a second act. Things don't always happen on an eclipse. It could happen a few days after. It could happen weeks after. Okay, it could happen months after. And so the idea is to, if you're receiving any messages, then the idea is to sit with whatever those intuitive messages are so that you can try to learn the lesson of what they're trying to tell you. Now, I've got the 8 of Swords, the 10 of Pentacles, the 4 of Wands, and the 3 of Pentacles, and the 6 of Cups as they relate to these cards. But first, we're going to take a look at the meaning of the 2 eights. Okay? One interpretation of the 2 eights is you will receive news that affects the relationship. Well, happening across this particular eclipse, you just want to pay attention. You never want to make any major decisions around a full moon or an eclipse. It is a highly emotional time, and particularly with eclipses, you're not going to see what's coming down the road. So this could be the idea that perhaps you need to hold off, but have faith, okay? And conquer your fears while you're waiting. Excuse me. So let's go to the Eight of Swords, shall we? To see if the Eight of Swords will tell us anything as it relates to these cards. With the Sun, it implies that regardless of the current adverse conditions, a definite change for the better is on the way. We see it here. It tells you to persist as your hard work, effort, and intent will bring the desired outcome to fruition in quick time. The second meaning of the two eights implies that there may be a slight concern in regards to a new romance, relationship, or partnership. And I feel that this row here is saying to me that you kind of feel stuck in a situation and you're not sure if it's going to lead to some type of long-term commitment or not. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know. Okay? That's why personal readings are very important. So, the 10 of Pentacles with the Sun is an indication that happiness and contentment is around you at this time. It also indicates that your desires are coming to fruition, and or the answer to your question is yes. There it is. And it simply may have to be that you're going to have to wait until the eclipse passes. So like I said, it could be the day of the eclipse tomorrow. It could be a few days from then. It could be a few weeks. Sometimes it could even be, a few months. But you're going to have to wait. Okay? Now, the Four of Wands. And I think this is what the issue is. The Four of Wands. Let's see if the Four of Wands tells us anything. Nothing about the Four of Wands. But the Four of Wands tells you, in regards to relationship, it asks that you leave things behind you in the past and enjoy your life today. It is a positive indication that relationships are going well or that any problems will soon pass. You should experience inner peace as well as harmony with others. Oh, wrong card. As long as harmony with others. It can indicate a quiet time spent with friends and family in a favorable place or places, and that a very positive and happy time will be had by all. The card indicates a job well done and says that you have learned with wisdom. It may be an indication that someone is enjoying a romance, which may lead to commitment of marriage, or the foundations of a long-term commitment or marriage may be laid at this time. So that's why I say it may not necessarily be a romantic relationship, because, we can make commitments with lots of people, friends, our people that we work with. So it's going to depend on what you have going on in your life. Three of Pentacles. With the Sun. It is a message that your innate talents will come to the fore and you will have success and personal fulfillment. You have a right to feel secure on your path and are asked to maintain faith in yourself and to stay positive. And finally, the Six of Cups. So I don't know what that is, and so I'm going to look at it because I don't know why you're feeling that way. That's the windmills of our mind. You being worried about something. Now, there's two messages here. And I want you to pay close attention with the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups with the Moon is a message that an issue or regrets from the past have not been fully resolved and they may come back to haunt you. Keep your emotions balanced and remain aware of the emotional lesson of the experience or experiences. It may remain to haunt you until the issue is fully understood and dealt with. Now it tells me why she's not saying anything. Do not fall into the same trap again. It is a time to look realistically at a situation or issue that has not been going to plan of late to see where you may have misjudged or miscalculated. Yet, there's another message, the Six of Cups with the Strength card. It is an indication that you have the abilities to achieve your goals at this time. The energies were not auspicious earlier, but the time is now right to pursue goals and dreams that you have been holding on to. You have the ability to achieve your goals and live up to your own expectations. All it takes is your own determination and positive mindset. And then finally, there's this additional message of the Six of Cups with the Moon, that some concerns from the past will come up and suggest that someone feels misunderstood. That's why she's not saying anything. Your feelings been hurt, or you've been dealing with something that came up from the past and you don't quite know how to handle it. That's why she's not saying anything. And so you're just kind of sitting back, not saying anything. You may be stewing in your own juices, or it could be someone else is giving you the cold shoulder. Okay? So let's see. Whatever the situation, it says that you have created the situation for yourself. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I was going to read a few interpretations for you here. Hold on. This is why it's important to keep a tarot journal, okay? So that you can mark down when things come up. Because everybody's going to get different messages from their cards depending on their relationship with them. Okay? So it says the feeling of, there's eights represent positive changes, but here there's a focus on imprisonment. You may be feeling unable to express your true feelings at this time. It tells of feeling trapped in an uncomfortable situation, but the situation is self-inflicted and or self-imposed and would be easy to be free of if an effort was made. With some clear thought, one is able to see themselves out of this situation. However, if one refuses to think and or see clearly, one will remain in this negative situation. It tells of a lady who is trapped in a situation that is of her own making. Yet the ties and bonds are loose and can be shaken loose if she chooses to do so. It tells of a feeling of restriction and of holding yourself back, sometimes a sense of betrayal attached. It can indicate someone who is fearful of moving out of a situation, and this brings about feelings of confusion and a lack of clarity. But the card also indicates that you are not bound in such a way that you could never hope to be free. So this is a feeling of a temporary duration rather than long-term bondage. It implies that you may have become involved in several unsuccessful ventures in an attempt to gain freedom. The card can sometimes indicate a move, change, or relocation of your home or family environment. And it may also indicate a journey, trip, or vacation in the very near future. You know, back to your childhood home or someplace that was nice for you. It tells of a time of relaxation and a release of anxiety and tension after a difficult and or stressful period. A circumstance or situation that you may have been concerned or worried about will have a positive outcome. It tells you to pay attention to some long-awaited news or information because it is on its way to you. It suggests a desire to make changes and improve certain aspects of your life, be it on the career or home front. At this particular time, though, only small achievements and improvements are likely to be made, and this may be frustrating. It's an inability to make firm choices and decisions, and it may also be telling of restrictions and the feeling of being tied into a situation you are not comfortable with. I said that already. It tells of fear, hurt, and confusion, and implies that if you worry continuously, you run the risk of becoming depleted of energy, leading to disease and illness. It implies that you are unable to think clearly, so therefore it is advisable to seek sensible advice and then take it. Be wary when the Eight of Swords appears in a reading. Keep your eyes and ears open and remain very aware at this time. You are asked to use your intuition and inner knowing. So the question becomes, what is that all about? So let's take a look at the cards to see what they say. Quite interesting. And even from the 10 to the 3, we are looking at the 7 of Pentacles, the card of being patient, and the card that says stop what you are doing so that you can reassess your plans and goals. Doesn't say you can't go through with it. Okay? Because right now you need to stop. You're on the right path, so to speak. Okay? And you may have to travel a little bit further in the dark without being able to see which way you're going. So it doesn't say, give up. It just says this is temporary. The Donna de Servicio, the helper card. Now, sometimes this card can be about calling a truce. See the little hanky she's waving there? All right. So this implies movement. There is the news that the card said to pay attention. Now, this is very interesting because what's most important about this card is the woman's reaction. See the letter? She opened the letter on the table. She read it. We don't know what the contents indicate, but whatever it is, it says it bites to the quick. We'll look at that a little bit more. And then finally, the L'Amica. So I would think that this is some kind of something from the past coming up that has to do with either a friend, a colleague. This could even be a sister or a daughter. Okay. But she generally implies help and assistance. So hang on one second. Where's my book? No, I don't know. There it is. What we want to take a look at is the La Donna de Servicio. This is a little bit longer than I planned on, but I think you need to hear it. She is the housemaid. Now, it represents someone who is helpful and kind and really wants to help you. This is not a woman with whom there's a romantic relationship or is related, okay? But broadly speaking, it indicates receiving help and support and the beginning of new conditions. It can indicate someone who works from home, employed work, never self-employment, or leader positions at work, or even a helpful colleague. It also indicates steady income, renewed contracts, improved loans or mortgages. The card can sometimes indicate spending money or any situation in which there is movement or an exchange of money. When representing personal characteristics, this person is hardworking, honest, and caring. It can also indicate someone who is charming, well-bred, polite, and refined. But with the negative card, it can indicate someone with low self-esteem who is easily taken advantage of by others because she's always caring and willing to help. Let's see here. What cards it's telling me to look at? Okay, that doesn't apply. Another meaning derived on this illustration is given by the white handkerchief. Like I said, this is the peace or truth after a period of quarrels and disagreements. It is also used in the idea of waving goodbye to someone. So therefore, it can talk about distance or things that take place outside of your home or hometown. There is another depiction that is the staircase. She's walking up a staircase there. So it can have an indication of career progress or climbing the social ladder. The flowers even refer to a gift of great value there in her hands. Now we know that only ladies' maids were able to afford, rich people will only afford ladies' maids. So therefore it can sometimes represent wealth, precious objects, a rich family, luxury, blue blood, and nobility. Okay, so that still holds true. But here we have the dispiacere. And she is the ace of spades in this deck. And what this card says is this. Whatever this thing is, it is of your own making and you're going to have to go through it. You're going to have to fix it. You can't just leave it the way that it is. It indicates bad news. Okay? I already said that. We don't know what the bad news is. Broadly, it foretells of a period of difficulty and sorrow, the failure of a project, humiliation, vicious gossip, and or anger in whatever area you're having issues with. It can herald violence, attacks, and arguments that can become physical. Let's see. In love, it heralds misunderstandings, disappointment, and separation, sometimes domestic violence. In family matters, it foretells of a falling out, bitter disputes, feuds, and very sad news. In financial matters, it indicates a dismissal, bankruptcy, a bad investment, and or bullying at work. It can sometimes indicate problems with the law and unfair judgments. The two main areas of impact is first the open letter, which heralds unexpected bad news. This can be from any source. The second is the reaction to the letter, and this indicates an event that will shake you to the core and will negatively affect you emotionally and on a very deep level. Personally, this card indicates a period of inner turmoil and turbulence, a painful interchange, or bad karma that is demanding repayment. Okay? So, it says that whatever significator card is near this one, usually this card will refer to them. And there she is, the friend. And it looks like maybe you might have been trying to help somebody, and now you done got in trouble. Okay? Or maybe you got in trouble, and now your friend's trying to help you, but it's not going the way that you thought it would. I think some words have been said, and I think one of you suspects the other of some type of betrayal. Now, here is the, hold on, I'm in the wrong suit. And then we're going to pull one card, so get ready to start thinking about your question. This is most likely a friend, but it can also be a relative, a partner, a daughter, a sister, or colleague, or even just an acquaintance. The person is neither good or bad, and defined by the cards that are near them. The predominant meaning of this card is friendship, loyalty, and support. It represents someone in whom we can trust and who's there to listen and to give good advice and comfort and make us feel at ease. In business, it represents good advice received by someone and or a period of prosperity or financial security. Also, it points to good relationships with one's colleagues as well as cooperation and team spirit. It may also represent a common project. In love, it heralds loyalty and feelings of security, but sometimes can indicate unrequited love, inasmuch as the loved one sees the other as a friend and not a lover. Okay? Now, I think that whatever this is, it's either you feeling all moody-o or your friend is all moody-o. Whoever you've had whatever this thing from the past is. You know what they just said to me? They said it's this whole idea, you know, be careful how you treat people on the way up, because you'll meet those same people on the way down. So I think there was some kind of slight here, and maybe you have to come back together to meet up again. You're going to have to see each other. Maybe this is a family situation, some kind of big to-do, okay, where everybody's going to have to pull together to make things nice. So it's just saying to you that you're going to have to address whatever this old injury or slight or problem is. And you're not going to be able to move forward until you talk about it and resolve it. Okay? So remember I said, whatever this thing is, the sun is going to shed light on it. There it is. All right. Here's your card. The Seven of Wands, stand your ground. Now, standing your ground doesn't necessarily mean that you can't resolve the issue. Standing your ground simply means to stick by whatever your beliefs are. And remember that, you know, not everybody's going to think like you or believe like you or have beliefs like you, your hopes and dreams, whatever this thing is about. But it doesn't mean that you still can't be respectful by accepting someone else's opinion on what, or, beliefs or whatever it is. So you can still resolve the issue. Here is the Seven of Wands. This is about standing up and knowing who you are. And that's what these lessons, these spiritual lessons are about. Sometimes you're going to have to walk a path alone, or you're going to have to walk a path that nobody else wants to follow you down. The sun says it's going to shine light on it. Here we are, the Stand Your Ground card. This card comes at a time when you are being tested and challenged. There may be fierce competition and potential rivals surrounding you in your personal or business life. But know that you have the strength and inner courage to stand your ground no matter how hard or formidable things may appear. Don't surrender or give up the control you have. Be brave and stay true to your core life values and belief system, which are your best allies and will help you move forward. It is important to remain clear and focused, for you may have to stand alone and defend your convictions to the end. Maintain your health and stay strong so that you have an ample supply of energy to endure anything, as this could be a long and arduous, yet ultimately hard-won victory. And I would say that, yeah, you're going to make up and everything's going to be fine, okay? But you can't not address the issue. You just can't. So that is what I have for you, Capricorn, for April 2023. I hope this helps. This is a super long message, but you needed to hear it. Be well.